Okay, so the Penrith Panthers, Cronulla Sharks semi-final. The winner obviously goes through to the Grand Final. And Penrith are on the cusp of history. Cronulla, I mean, it's been a long time since they were in a Grand Final, 8 years to be exact. So this is a big game for both sides, and it's a make-or-break game for several players. Nicho Hynes has been under a lot of pressure in the last couple of seasons because of his salary and what is expected of him. And when he has a bad performance, he cops a lot of criticism on the mainstream media, social media. He's quite a likeable character, to be honest, but I think part of the problem with Nicho Hynes is he's a confidence player. He has had a lot of injuries. State of origin hasn't gone well for him. And he hasn't been consistent enough because of those injuries and that lack of confidence at times. Now, the major issue, I think, for the Sharks today is both their starting centres, who've been dominant this season in Ramian and Iro, look likely to miss the game through injury. Stone Street may have to come in and either play on the wing or in the centres, even though he's meant to be a fullback. So there's going to be a reshuffle of their backline. Talakai obviously has played centre before, but he's more of an interchange forward, a bit more of a utility. And so therefore he's a bit more one-dimensional in regards to his style of play, which is different to Iro or Ramian. So it's going to be interesting to see how that backline reshuffle impacts the Sharks. They have been hit with a few injuries at unfortunate times mostly to their backline, although their forward pack has also at times had some injury concerns, which has impacted the stability of the side in a certain aspect and impacted the combinations that the team has. Now, they do have options, but I don't think the Sharks have the same depth as the Panthers. However, if the Sharks play at their best, and they have played pretty well at times this season, when they have won, they've won well. When they have been confident, they win well, as I say. They're not going to be an easy opponent for Penrith. They're not. It's not going to be like last night with the Roosters getting hammered by the Storm, for example. This is going to be a much closer game, I feel, than the betting odds would suggest. And even though the Sharks' form has been a bit patchy in the second half of the season, I do think they are a much fitter side. They're much better organised, and Craig Fitzgibbon has definitely built a new, better culture there than what was there under previous coaches since, even under Flanagan. I do think the team chemistry is a lot better. They are definitely a much fitter side that can stay in games, and they're much better defensively than what they were. That was a big issue. So their combinations, I think, if they stick to their game plan and play at their best, and there's nothing to suggest they wouldn't, then yes, they are going to be. It's going to be a very, very tough test for Penrith. On the Penrith side of things, a lot of it does focus around Nathan Cleary's fitness. Now, the forward pack speaks for itself. Depth in all positions in the forward pack. Fisher, Harris, and Leota set the platform as the front row, and then the interchange forwards as well carry on that momentum down the middle. Very established, stable backline. Very established and stable. A lot of it will focus on Nathan Cleary's fitness, because he has had some injury concerns the last couple of years that have impacted his ability to play at 100% and dictate the play as he would like. He's had some shoulder problems. He's had some hamstring problems. So they do need to take some of the pressure off Cleary. Now, does that mean Jerome Luai has to take a little bit more responsibility? He's thrived with the extra responsibility when Cleary's been out. So Schneider as well has stepped in and covered at times as well as a depth player. Good signing, I think. Similar to what Jack Cogger was last year. So there's going to be a bit more responsibility, I think, taken by Luai. Now, when Luai plays at his best, and again, he's also a confidence player. His confidence is sky high at the moment with how State of Origin's gone and how his performances have gone, how he's played with Samoa as well. I think he grew in confidence, being a key part of the Samoa side that made the World Cup final a couple of years ago. So I think Penrith are still the favourites. The major weakness I found with Penrith over the last 4 or 5 years is the weather. When it rains, or it has rained, or it's wet, changeable conditions, they struggle. Their game plan of territory and basically a very energetic defence, so putting pressure on the opposition's attack before they get the ball, doesn't seem to work as well. They don't seem to play as well in wet, changeable conditions. Now, Could that be with their style of play, or is that just a weird anomaly? So I don't know what the weather's going to be doing later today, but if there is any rain hanging around, I think that could be a concern. In saying that, I think that the Penrith side is more settled, their system is more established, and then the combinations work a lot better. So they're more stable in their combinations, and they do have more depth. But Cronulla have proven at times this season they can beat teams and beat teams well. Their defence is a lot better. You can see the team chemistry with the Sharks is a lot better than in previous seasons. So it's going to be a very intriguing contest, a very fun contest. And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I would say Penrith are favourites, and I would say Penrith by 6. I think it's going to be a lot more closer game than what we saw last night. And a lot of permutations of that. As I say, I think it's going to be quite a close game, quite an intense game. I would say the collision and the intensity is going to be Origin-esque, I would have thought. There's a lot of players on both sides who played Origin, and are in and around Origin squads, so they know what it's like in this kind of arena. And Penrith are on the cusp of history, playing in 5 grand finals in a row, and Cronulla want to get back to the grand final for the first time in 8 years. And Cronulla have come a long way from where they were when Fitzgibbon took over, and Penrith have just been so consistent. At some point, trying to get to 5 grand finals in a row and win 4 hasn't been done. I don't even think Parramatta did 4 in a row, but since the St George team in the 60s. So there was the discussion back in 2020, could the Roosters do 3 in a row? But they couldn't. Injuries and wear and tear on bodies took their toll. Key players retired. Key players got injured at the wrong times. It took a toll. Penrith have been very, very lucky in their halves combination has stayed the same throughout with Luai and Cleary. They built a very, very good combination, and they're still scarily very, very young early in their careers. So they haven't chopped and changed without needing to in their spine. Their spine has stayed pretty consistent for the most part. Apart from Kenny's come in for Coruscant, their spine has stayed consistent. Whereas if you look at Cronulla, for example, their spine has changed quite a bit in recent seasons to where it is now, and is less established in the same kind of head-to-head. So it's going to be an interesting one, as I say. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch the game because I'm actually going out, but I will watch the game, full match replay when I get in. I've got things to do today, but it should be a fun encounter. Anyway, place your thoughts in the comment section below who you think is going to win. I think Penrith will win by about 6, maybe 8 points. I think it'll be a lot closer than last night's game. And I never make predictions, because when I predict something, the other team generally wins. But if there is any rain floating around Sydney, that could throw a spanner in the works for Penrith, because they don't like it when it rains. They don't perform as well, and their win-loss record in the wet is atrocious in the last 4 or 5 years, so including both World Club challenges. So it'd be very interesting to see how the game plays out. Will we go to Golden Point? Injuries? Will there be a high penalty count? Discipline? Defence? So there we go. I think Penrith will win, but I think it will be a much closer game, as I say, than last night. And Cronulla could upset them. They have the tools at their disposal to upset them, but injuries in their back line have been a problem this season and could derail any potential upset. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comments section below. Also, before I go, obviously memberships are now available as well. There should be a membership tab somewhere on the bottom where you can click join. And other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll have some more content for you guys very, very soon.